Hello there everybody, Sabana92 aka Nightmare, and welcome back to Assassination Classroom. Bit of a misconception here. It wasn't the winner of the tournament that the Class E was facing off against at the ball tournament, it was just Class A and... Or not, yeah, no, not Class A. You know what I'm talking about. I got the tournament thing mixed up, that's my bad, so I done goofed on that one. But regardless, a couple things happened. So, the previous episode, we got to meet Itona, or, essentially Koro Sensei's quote-unquote brother. More brother in the experimental sense that this Itona had undergone very, very similar experimentations that Koro Sensei himself had been put through. Although it seems like it's not perfected, but a little bit more contained. As Koro Sensei has this, since he used to be human, his form is obviously considerably different. However, Itona still seems to possess a more human form, or at least is able to pass off as a human until his hair starts doing the tentacle thing. Ironically, leading to a rather... See, part of me wants to say that it was close, yet the other part of me doesn't say it's close because Koro Sensei was able to exploit the one flaw about Itona, that he possessed almost all the same weaknesses that he himself had, including weaknesses to the knives. Not necessarily him being able to hold it, but his tentacles of the hair being susceptible to the knives, which means he might also be susceptible to the bullets, but I'm not entirely sure the bullets would be very effective considering, he can move around the same type of speed that Koro Sensei is capable of. It had me seriously concerned for Koro Sensei's health, but I'm happy that he pulled through. And on top of that, we finally got Class E their own little victory. Seeing the baseball tournament was, well, we didn't really see the tournament, but we got to see Class E face off against the baseball club. And, oh my god. Seeing the depths of what the principal does to the students, making them so absolutely scared of failure, it almost dehumanizes the students themselves. Like, don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with a little bit of failure, but seeing how it paralyzed them and just the way their eyes were drawn and the way that they looked really added such a... It leaves me speechless. As I'm sure you can tell, it literally just leaves me speechless with how crass and, in my personal opinion, awful the principal really is, even if the school does produce. I am just personally happy that Class E finally managed to get themselves a victory, and seeing Koro Sensei kind of... His teaching method, fantastic. Being able to mimic the pitcher so that way they're able to adjust to it. Like, that was clever. That was really, really clever, and I liked that. That was really nice. Now, here's the question, though. Now that there's a 1-to-1 victory / loss on this, it really makes me wonder, what the hell is, gonna happen now. Now that the students have, their own little victory, I'm partially scared about what might be, well, what might be ruined / kind of just taken away. Because as soon as they get some sense of victory, I'm always afraid that there's going to be, something is going to happen. Something terrible is possibly going to happen, and I'm just going to feel, well, like shit. Also, gonna give a bit of a shout out to a couple commenters. Rukasu Mizukio, thank you very much for the lesson on hiragana, katakana, and kanji with the Japanese language. Thank you very much for answering that question. I do appreciate that. And Carlos gave a bit of a explanation here. I was misinformed. The show has 2 seasons. The second half of season 2 is labeled the final season, but it's still just part of season 2. Thank you very much. I thought for some reason that there were 4 seasons. I don't know why. But thank you very much for clarifying that for me, Carlos. I highly appreciate it. And Jason DePamilo told me that there is actually a spin-off story with Assassination Classroom. And if you're curious, I might actually take a look at that possibly someday. Just, out of curiosity. Oh, and Ty Kursake actually went a little bit more into the whole explanation about the seasons. That there are, each season has like 2 parts. So that's probably where the lines got crossed. Like, that's probably where I thought, oh, there must be 4 seasons. No, that's where I kind of. Thank you all very much. Now then, let's go. Okay. Well, that was episode 13 of Assassination Classroom, and off to a rather interesting start. First off, we got to see more of Karasuma's, teaching methods with physical education, and got to see a little bit of, well, what Nagisa's specialty is. Because we had that little bit of foreshadowing where he felt like there was a snake about to strike and coil around him, showing that Nagisa has, like, this snake-like stalking the prey vibe, where he's able to relatively get underneath somebody's radar. Not effectively, because Karasuma, again, he's a professional, so he's able to kind of realize, oh shit, what the hell's going on? Oh, there you are! Kind of vibe. So, first off, excellent little foreshadowing there. And we get the introduction of this other guy who has a history with Karasuma, Takaoka. And giving off a rather friendly vibe, which I didn't buy for a split second, and I'm grateful that I did not. Because we learned that his methods are exceptionally harsh, to the point where it's literally abuse/torture. And again, Takaoka gives like his own reasoning, which I still will never agree with it, but I can kind of see like 1% logic in it. It's very similar to why I can kind of see how, well, fuck, I can understand the principal's motives more than I can understand Takaoka. Freaking the principal's, that's a thin line I don't want to tackle ever. But whenever the ball drops and we see him physically hurting the students, God, dude doesn't even have chivalry. Like, my God. But getting realistic reactions from not only Koro Sensei, which, ooh, he went red. He was pissed. But also seeing Karasuma's reaction, like, dude, okay, what the fuck, man? But then we get to the test of sorts. Takaoka pulling out a real knife and using his own method to try to beat down the students by basically overwhelming strength to make himself appear as the alpha, so the others would fall in line after he had beaten somebody down, exhibiting his dominance. No, exuding his dominance. But anyway, and we get to basically Takaoka versus Nagisa, as Nagisa had been chosen by Karasuma to perform the test. And obviously, Koro-sensei had all of the, like, absolute faith in Nagisa from the way it looked, because Irina was like, are you sure this is a good idea? And he's like, oh, just see, don't worry. And again, with the history of what Nagisa is capable of doing, getting Koro-sensei to drop his guard, being able to throw off the attention, well, not really throw off the attention, but throwing off the students, the higher up students, and then of course almost getting the jump on Karasuma. All of that compiling into this one moment where he was effectively able to get Takaoka to have his guard completely dropped, and Nagisa did the essential of a pro gamer move and one-shot the guy in that contest. It was exceptionally tense, and then seeing Nagisa just doing that simple smile and casually walking toward him to the point where Takaoka's like, wait, what the hell is he doing? That was exceptionally well done. And even Karasuma's realization that it's not combat that he excels at. He excels at assassination. Seeing that little bit of like, wait, should I even encourage this? As if he is kind of, he slips away from being the professional assassin to being like an actual person. Like, wait, should I even encourage a kid to be doing this? Like, really well done. Exceptionally well done. And I'm looking forward to seeing how well this pans out for Nagisa in general. Like, how well his natural ability to assassinate just evolves throughout the rest of this. I'm really tempted to go back and rewatch that. However, I don't want to be accidentally spoiled because you guys know how YouTube is, which means I'm probably just going to stick to this particular where I'm watching this, because if I even watch one Assassination Classroom clip on YouTube, it's just going to recommend a bunch of clips and I might get spoiled, and I'm not risking that. But I'm definitely going to go back and rewatch that. Takaoka, I didn't fall for your trick one bit, and I'm happy that I called it. Maybe not so effectively, but I was able to kind of see through this obvious deception. But relatively well, pretty damn good episode, and a good cementing that the students actually do like Karasuma, and Karasuma kind of settling into, aside from being, you know, a teacher, he definitely exudes like a parental guardian sort of vibe to the students, like a position, that kind of position, and I feel like it's very fitting. I'm gonna go hop into the next episode, and I'll see you guys there. Hello there, everybody, and now we're on episode 14 of Assassination Classroom. In the last episode, we got introduced to a really bit of a scumbag named Takaoka, who had a bit of a history with Karasuma. And, where do I begin? His teaching method was not really teaching. It was borderline torture. Trying to literally beat the students senseless to... God damn it, I barely made any sense of his methods, but regardless, what happened last episode was amazing. So, actually, I'm starting to come to the point that I'm just saying that about every episode at this point. Nice. But, so, a bit of a recap. With Takaoka temporarily taken over as phys ed teacher, he kind of, well, he physically abused the students. I mean, even those who were polite, he just backhanded and just gut punch. Well, actually, wait, if memory serves, he kneed Zaki in the gut, or I might be getting their names mixed up here, but he kneed the orange-haired kid in the gut. That was fucked up. That was just unbelievably fucked up. But the real shining moment, two shining moments. First off, Koro-sensei getting reasonably pissed, like, hey, you're fucking hurting my students. And Nagisa's shining moment. Just the way he handled that encounter whenever he was wielding a real knife, and how he showed how well he is acting as a sort of a snake, stalking his prey and getting there to where their guard is dropped and then striking. Very effective. Just, yeah. I mean, hell, Karasuma pretty much pointed out that it's not so much killing, he's just exceptionally good at assassinating. Just the act of assassination just seems to come naturally to him, or he's just a natural with it. So I'm really wondering how they're going to try to build up his skill as an assassin, then. Which makes me wonder how the next episode is going to be. But regardless, seeing Takaoka, who has a history of hurting people, being brought down and just taken away, fantastic. And Karasuma kind of realizing that he does have a much more... He is close to the students. He's like a parental figure in that regard. Much more than... And I will say, one last thing that definitely surprised me was the principal's inclusion, where even he was like, get out of here. You're fired. I don't know what to make of the principal. I really don't. I see him as the bad guy, but that one moment where he was kind of on our side, which is, I don't know. He's done everything to make sure that Class E fails miserably, but why did he help? Unless he really, or who knows, maybe he really believes that Takaoka is their best method of becoming better assassins and he just wants to get rid of them, but I don't know. Maybe a sign of respect to Class E, considering he finally saw their potential, maybe? I honest to goodness doubt it. I mean, last week, he walked away without a word after the baseball team lost and Class E won, so I don't know. we'll just have to wait and see, so let's jump in. And that was episode 14 of Assassination Classroom, and today's episode was basically the Terasaka episode, which was a bit of a long time coming, showing his overall unwillingness to get along with his classmates and getting absolutely pissed that everybody was actually liking Koro-sensei, and he thought that he was the only one that was actually wanting to actually kill him, although it got to the point where he himself was technically being used by Itona and that guy whose name I've forgotten already. And being used to the point where he actually got all of his he put all of his classmates in danger. I mean, again, I imagine the plan was already put in place because they knew Koro-sensei was going to leap forward immediately and try to save his students. Because that right there is my theory as to why that is... Okay, at the end of the episode, Nagisa said they tend to overlook his greatest weak point of all, which it's... My personal theory about that is, well, it's been shown throughout the entirety of the series, he cares about his students. He puts the safety of his students over himself, essentially, if I had to guess. That's probably what his weakness, that's probably his biggest weakness, that he puts the safety of his students above his own. I mean, for crying out loud, he was fighting in an environment where he was severely disadvantaged against Itona, who'd basically been upgraded to attack much more ferociously and faster and much more efficiently. And I guess this was definitely Terasaka and Karma's moment, kind of showing, I'm guessing, what's going to probably be their dynamic from now on, where Karma is a much more effective guy who gives proper orders, and Terasaka will follow through with said orders, even taking a hit from Itona, which we know it's Itona, he was holding back, but he still was able to take not a full force, but enough to knock him out, and he was still conscious, able to hold it back a little bit. That little detail about how he hadn't changed his shirt, very clever. Very, very, very clever with the bug spray, having that reincorporated. Unfortunately, it looks like my idea about having a thin membrane of mucus over Koro-sensei's body turned out to be fail. I thought the whole scene where Itona was talking about a mucus line being around his tentacles, allowing him to kind of stave off a little bit of the water. I thought that was going to be kind of reincorporated, combining the fact that Koro-sensei was, well, spewing a lot of snot and phlegm. I thought that was going to be a reincorporated element, but no, that did not turn out to be the case. This was definitely Terasaka's shining moment. And I guess theoretically he's now officially kind of part of the classmate of the students and actually embracing, his role to getting along with his classmates and trying to find a way to kill Koro-sensei. Again, I feel like my theory about what Koro-sensei's greatest weak point is correct. Either it's that the fact that he puts his students' safety above all else, above his own safety, or combining with that, he cares that much about his students. That being one of his weak points. That's the kind of that's the thought process that I've got going on here, Now, to see whether that's proven or not, we'll have to wait and see. But anyway, I'd say that was a pretty good week this week. I will admit that Takaoka versus Nagisa, that was amazing. And Terasaka getting a little bit of development, that was also pretty damn good. This is a pretty satisfying week. I think it was pretty good. Now that Nagisa, though, made, the observation that they knew his Koro-sensei's greatest weak point, I'm wondering how they're going to approach that. it's really got me curious. Or again, maybe next week I'll find out I may have been wrong, or if I was right. I don't know. I think I'll find out next week. But anyway, if you all like this, be sure to let me know. Thank you all very much for watching, and I will definitely see all of you guys in the next video.